Hey, this is Jeremy with Strength in Numbers. I want to talk to you today about why I think for most people, an accountant is well worth the small difference in price. So, how do you file your taxes? No, I'm not talking about single or married filing jointly or any of that stuff. I'm talking about, do you use TurboTax or an accountant, or how do you go about it? I want to talk to you about the distinctions between each of these options, because the common assumption is, as long as I just get it done, it gets done right. And there's many options, right? It's kind of, not really. So we're going to talk through those distinctions today, make sure you can make the best decision for when it comes for tax filing time. Hopefully you're already ahead of it by watching this video, but if you aren't on top of that, I encourage you to get on top of it now. Don't wait till the last minute. So let's first look at costs. TurboTax cost is $95. I base that off of one state filing of $40 and the federal of $55, because almost everybody's got to deal with one state filing, and if you don't, maybe I'll move to your state one day and not have to deal with that, which would be great. But pretty much everybody, that covers it, the base cost of $95. Now, quick aside, all of these three examples I'm giving today are all based on the standard 1040 form with no itemization, because there's a lot of variability to the tax code. As you know, it's probably as tall as I am. And all that little nuance is where the fees and the forms and all that stuff can come in. So I'm just using a baseline example here to give you a reference point, okay? With H&R Block or Liberty Tax Service or Jackson Hewitt, their fees tend to range, based on the research I found, between about $147 to $191, depending on which company you're going with for that standard tax filing. And an accountant, the average according to the Association of CPAs, said that it's about $176 for an accountant to do the same filing. Okay, so that's a quick look at cost. But is cost all that really matters? I don't think so. I think experience is essential as well. So let's look at experience. Well, what kind of experience do we have with TurboTax? None. It's a piece of software. In fact, when I interview accountants that I'm getting to know and maybe will refer to them in building networking, things like that, I always ask them, what's the number one way that you get clients? 14 out of 15 of them have told me TurboTax. It makes mistakes. It doesn't catch things that I would catch, different things like that. That's how I get most of my clients. TurboTax. People go, crap, the software messed up. I need help. Isn't that interesting? We look at the experience of an HR Block, Liberty Tax Service, Jackson Hewitt type person, and nothing against these folks. They're doing good work, but they're tax preparers. They haven't been to school for accounting in most cases. Maybe some other managers have, but they're usually doing a second job doing this. It's not their main thing. They may even not be passionate about it. It's just not the same experience as an accountant, right? It's a fair statement, right? Some great people that worked. I know some of them. But with an accountant, they've gone to school for an accounting. They've got the degree. They're an actual certified public accountant or just a standard accountant. They don't necessarily have to be certified public to one. And then lastly, I want to look at the liability issue. This is an issue that often gets overlooked. See, when you file your taxes, depending on how you're filing it, one of these three options, there could be one or two lines for you to sign. But essentially what it's saying is two different things. Number one, is any of the information, all this information that you provided for this filing accurate to the best of your knowledge? Have you provided accurate information? And secondly, have you filed this correctly according to the best of your ability, best of your knowledge? Those are two important distinctions here. So first, is all the information you've given us actually true and to the best of your knowledge accurate? Secondly, have you filled out this whole filing and this whole return correctly? Man, that's a lot of pressure, in my opinion, that second one. Well, when you go through TurboTax, they're not taking any of that liability whatsoever, because your self-filing is just a program helping you do that. When you go through H&R Block, Liberty Taxes, Jackson Hewitt, things like that, they're not taking any liability either, because again, they're helping you with the drafting of the return. Now, they may in certain cases refund certain penalties or certain fees that came as a result of it being filed incorrectly, but then you're going to have to pursue that and get them to actually refund it, and it's not something you want to have to worry about, but either way, the liability is still on you. But when you work with an accountant, there's going to be two separate lines. Number one is going to say, did you provide accurate information to the best of your ability, and that's your line to sign. but the accountant then signs the line that says, we have filled this out and filed it correctly to the best of our ability and knowledge. And they sign that line and take liability. So if it comes back from the IRS saying that it needs more information, it goes through the accounting firm and they contact you for more information. Or if they say it was filed incorrectly, it goes back to the accounting firm and the accounting firm is held liable for that. That's a huge difference. So is it worth the small difference in price to use an accountant? I think so. Even with the price difference with TurboTax, that's even a larger difference, but it's really not that much. I don't want to end up owing Uncle Sam. I don't know about you. I think it's much smarter to use an accountant and avoid that situation altogether. I hope this has been helpful information for you. Make sure that you're getting ready for tax time. If you're not, reach out to an accountant. If you need a referral, I would be happy to connect you to one, or any other questions as to how to find a good quality accountant. Just give me a call, reach out to me on Facebook, or things like that. Make sure you download my free ebook, The Money Finder, which will go over 6 areas in which you're spending already right now and help you start saving. Hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.